Hey everyone. So, probably a question you may or may not have asked yourself is, are we living in an inverted reality? Now, you may be saying, okay, maybe you're being a bit crazy, we don't live in an inverted reality, but really take a second to think about it, right? The things which are good for you, let's say vegetables, exercise, the list goes on, they often taste the worst and are the hardest things to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we're all connected via social media, but people are at their loneliest at all time. So realistically, we connected by our disconnection. Another factor is we see. So we look at a tree, we say that's a tree. We look at a plant, we say that's a plant. But are we really seeing? When we actually close our eyes and we look within and we actually discover our true essence, our true soul, that is where we truly see reality of who we are. We have God's essence within us, and the only way to truly see is to close your eyes, put your awareness within yourself. Whereas everything we look with, if we look from without, we would say that is reality. So that's another factor here. So to see some sort of spiritual truth, we need to close our eyes, as opposed to putting our awareness on our phones, on our social media. When we put that awareness within, we start seeing things start changing. We start seeing truths. We start having, more of an intuitive lifestyle which operates from a place of love, from a place of peace. Another factor is good actions tend to be less rewarded, and more selfish actions tend to be more rewarded. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's take, for example, just the workplace. You have your social workers, you have your teachers, you have your nurses. They're typically some of the lowest paying professions, and they have the largest impact. These are actually fairly altruistic professions, yet they get paid the least. Now you take an investment banker, whose job is basically to look for synergies by cutting costs and getting people fired to add corporate value to a company. And they can get paid up to 200K as a graduate. Keep in mind that is more than a literal surgeon. So in other words, adding shareholder value is more important than saving lives in this realm. So that's another factor. Another key consideration here is, more looking at fiction, these non-fiction. As we've seen in the little clown fest, which has occurred over the last 3 years, realistically, a large portion of the news tended to demonstrate and present certain things which were facts, which have actually turned out to not be facts, and are in essence thereby declared fiction. Then you take movies like The Matrix, other movies like Soul, Truman Show, the list goes on. There's a fair portion of disclosure in these movies which is actually closer to the truth. They're not. So we have another overlap there, in the sense that non-fiction arguably is fiction, and fiction is non-fiction. I know that's a bit of a brain teaser there, but when you really start looking across the world, there are all of these instances, and at what point do we really start questioning this stuff? And to conclude, one of the most important factors here is, to a degree, when this meat suit expires, which is our body, which is naturally going to expire, people call that death. However, when you really think about it, when this meat suit expires and your soul is liberated, that is life. So, in essence, what's branded as death is actually birth, in the sense that that is when we truly become alive. That's when we truly become our essence. So these are just key contemplations. The next time you find yourself in a situation and you are discouraged and you think things don't make sense, it's probably because they're not meant to. Look, that's where I see it. Maybe it's a coping mechanism, who knows? But these are things which crossed my mind, thought I would share them. And hopefully that keeps you a bit sane in this clown world we are living in. And as always, wish you guys the best and a peaceful, non-toxic day ahead.